Hey everyone, it's Mark from Memory Lane Transfers coming to you with another video, and this one is an exciting one. This one I've gotten requests for. I've been asked about it through the years, and it's all about restoration. So what I've decided to do is take you with me through a restoration job. How do you restore film? What do you use? What's the software? What's the procedure? Where there's many steps that go into restoration. It's a long process, but it's an exciting one. When you find out the power that you can restore your memories to look beautiful and crystal clear, that's the whole point of restoration. And it's about you taking those memories and preserving them for years to come, for future generations to enjoy. And the steps you take now to preserve these memories is what matters. But enough about all of that. Let's get to the whole restoration process, and you're going to love what we got. All right, so let's go. Okay, so I'm here inside Premiere. Everything I'm going to show you today you could use with whatever editing system you want to use. I use Premiere. And as for the clip we're going to use, for those of you who have seen our opening, I'm going to pull this up right here quickly. You may have seen this video with this. Well, there was a clip in here. There we go. Look at this. That clip is all dirty, dusty. Okay, none of that's been taken care of or restored. That was naturally the way it came when it was transferred over. So anyway, let's go in here. We no longer need that stuff or that. And we're going to bring in that original footage, which happens to be this one right here. So let's bring this in. Okay. So we have this, and what we're going to do is drop it. Now, for the purpose of this tutorial, trust me, the stuff we're going to do really is taxing on your computer. So what I want to do is probably just go to like a minute or so. I mean, we can go right here. We could even use this, but I'll tell you, for the purpose of this tutorial and the timing, let's just go to like that 50-second mark. Here we go. So the first thing we're going to do is review the film quickly, and as you could see, we have this going. Let me see if I could bring that a little larger for you. And you could see there's a lot of dirt, there's a lot of dust, and that's the first. And this, we got a darker picture over here. You know, this is just the way it was filmed, had nothing to do with age. That's just the way, you know, it came out. Incidentally, before we start, I want you to see something here. These videos that we have, this one is here, and here was the video. If I open this up and go to properties, first of all, you're going to notice if I go to details, this was scanned. This is Super 8 Film, and our sister company, partner company, excuse me, did this, and it's a 1920 by 1080 scan. So it definitely was done in HD. Okay, so HD dimensions it was done. And the most important thing, what starts with anything with film, was that it was transferred correctly. Super 8 Film runs at 18 frames per second. And that's exactly not only how this was transferred, but how it was captured. A lot of times you will see 30 frames per second listed here. And that's just not, it's not great for film. You want it at, it was supposed to be played at. And Super 8 Film plays at 18 frames per second, so it was captured exactly the right way. Let's take a look here. So the first thing we want to do, what I do, is look for the dirtiest frame possible. You really want to do that. You want to look for the dirtiest frame with the most work needed. Again, I don't edit a lot. We're just doing this on the fly, if you know what I mean. This is going to be good. And I want it to be as natural as possible and show you what we actually go through when it comes to that. Oh, look at this. Okay, wait. I like that. Let's back this up. Okay, something like that. Because when I have to do something later, I have to use a clean palette. Like you'll notice when we pull up the software, and this area might prove well for what we have to do. Okay, so let me just bring this up a little here like this. Now I use a program. I'm going to go into the effects panel. This program you pay for. I use a program called Neat Video, and it comes up here with this reduce noise filter. So I am going to place it on here, and in my box here to the left, this comes up. So now I ask it to prepare the footage, prepare the frame, which it did, and now we're going to build a profile. So now this will come up, and now we are inside this system. So what we're going to do first is ask it, I'm just going to do a straight auto profile, and what this does is it's going to identify a section. So here we go. So this section here, even though it's small, it needs how do I explain it? It needs an even playing field, because what it's going to do in that box is identify that material or those artifacts as noise. So I'm going to say yes for this moment, and you'll see here to the right we get a whole bunch of things up here. The quality, it's coming out to 65%, which is not bad. If we want, we could extend this a little bit and see if we get you know, something better, and we'll see what this comes out to. And let me just see here, apply that, and let's see. Yeah, it's okay. It's not great. Let's go back up. Let's build this again. Let's say to do this, and you know what, we'll leave it at the 65% at the moment. So if we go apply, you'll see right here. Now watch the picture. If I turn the effect off, you could see the grain show up on the hood of the car, and then if I hit apply it, that's what we've removed already from this image, okay, from this part. But I'm still not satisfied. You could see there's still scratches, dust, and we need to restore that. So let's go into the adjust tab. Okay, so we're going to start. That's a good starting spot. Now here we have temporal noise. This may not be the best screen to do this. I'm going to try it. Okay, maybe it is. So what's great about this is that for the noise level, it even identifies noise we don't see. But we want to do this level. If you see all this, see where this is and this is, all the discoloration that's not blue. We're going to take this and we're going to try sliding it over and see. You could see how, like when it starts like that, we try to get rid of most of it as possible. We'll click finish, and it did a little bit of process, not the best, but that's pretty much what we're doing. So I'm actually going to bring this down. Well, no, we could leave it where it was. Let's go to the next one. Here we have anything about flicker. And let's just see if this caused anything. And you could see if I move this, tap this over, see by the window, there's stuff in there that we didn't even notice, even all around it. So we're going to use that to also bring this over. And when we hit begin again, now there's hardly nothing left to do, which is fantastic. I mean, this is great. So we are actually pretty good. Let's leave the flame flicker out, the frame flicker. That's a tongue twister. Because when it comes to that, we really didn't have much. It was transferred the right way. You could see here on the noise reduction, for those of you who want a bit of grain, if you want to keep some of the dirt in there for authentic purposes, some people like that. You could fluctuate the noise reduction amount when it comes to this. So I'm going to leave it the way it is because I'm trying to get rid of all this as I can. I really want that gone. Now, repeated frame check. Okay, this gets a little confusing. It's a special treatment for clips containing repeated noise, slow shutter, night mode, things like that. This is a new feature they had done. And you know, it's not bad. I haven't played with it yet. I really haven't, so I'm not really. Let's see here. If there's a check, and you know, I don't even think I'm going to play with it. It's not necessary, I think, for us at the moment. That's not really what we're going to do. Next one. This is important. This area, dust and scratches. Okay? Watch the hood of the car, because usually once I click enable, it might even go. There you look at that. Okay, that just went. Now, with dust and scratches, if you had some really bad film, you could hit this to aggressive and really just change it up. Now, it's up to us if we want to do that or not. I think we could just leave it on normal. We should be fine. And this threshold here, you could see the hood of the car, and now watch. See that black mark, and we let it leave. And remember, the settings we do here are going to apply throughout the film. We just have to see if there's, what else there's going to be. Adapting to noise change. This one is subject to, if you really, it depends on what you feel. That's really user approval, and you could use that one later on. If we want to look at a different frame here, we could adjust on the bottom. Right now, at this point, I think we're okay. Right here, the next one, this is the spatial one. Okay, so when it comes to this, again, quality mode, put it on normal. It might default to high. And you know what? Yeah, what the heck? Let's do it. Let's go there. And for luminance, this one you could play with. This one, this is like your smoothing effect. So if I go down, you see, look at the car hood, and you could see what it looks like. Now watch this when I go up, how it smooths that out and removes everything. That's a look I like, so we're gonna keep it there. The chrominance and the frequencies you really don't have to worry about. If you wish to play with that, go right ahead. Then we have this. Again, I like looking at the noise level on the hood, and then I will go, and that's where I want to take it out. I just want that gone. Edge smoothing, always nice to play with. Don't overdo it on this one. I try not to. I mean, it's okay. I just think it's something they need, to work on. I think the filter is all right in here, but I still see, softening. This is my favorite here. The sharpening, it does matter. You do want to sharpen. You don't want to over sharpen. So underneath where it says channels prevent over sharpening, make sure that's enabled. Although if you do get this yourself, by all means, you can go ahead and try it. So now that we have this much done, let's go ahead and hit apply. And we could take a look at that picture right now. Look at that. And watch if I turn off the filter, the software. That's what we had. And that's with it on. But how does the whole thing look? So we're going to give it a shot playing it like this, and let's just see if it will work. I don't think it will that great. No. Let's render this out quickly, and then we can get a better idea of how this looks. Okay, and we're back. This is just about finished, and here we go. So as we could see in this definitely looks much clearer for what this was. I mean, there we go. Now this does get dark over here, but for the most part, it's not perfect, but it's still very clean. Let's do a thing. I saw something here on the way back, and it was just there on the face. And again, you want to look for artifacts. You want to look for stuff, now look at that. Okay, we still have that. Now, if it's there, that means it could be in other places of the film. So let's leave that like that. Let's go back into Neat Video. Okay. And look, it's going to stay with this particular frame. But now we could go back in. Okay, and let's see what we have to do to get this out. Maybe we need to put this on aggressive. Let's see. If we take dust and scratches, watch the face. Oh, did you see that? Now that's what I'm talking about. That is the beauty of this. So if there is that I just saw, there's different, if you look here, I could bring it back. It depends on the amount of removal you're going to use. because you don't always just want to max it out, okay? It's still removing artifacts from the film. So you don't want to overdo it, but we do need to do enough. So this is going to go over, 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 over. And you know what? In this case, we're going to have to do the 100%. We will. However, if we don't do it, or we take this away, look at this. Yeah, we don't want that. And even, you know, if you look at other frames, you will see the difference. So that really works out nice. So let's hit apply. And you know what? Let's go here. Let's go to high on this quality mode. Oh, yeah. Did you see that? Look at the facing. I'm going to go to normal. And look right here. There's still some artifacts. And if I hit high, that'll come away. And folks, you have to understand that, you know, it's not just here where it's being removed. This gets applied to the whole clip. So when you're even removing the most minute rate that, you know, of artifacts, it does apply to the entire clip. Now, if I want, I could play this whole thing in here, and it's going to show, you could see, there is absolutely nothing there now anymore. So I think that's great. And whatever little bit that is there, we're going to let that be. So I'm going to hit apply. And now you saw. So if I turn this off, look how bad this footage was. Look at all the grain. And now if I put it on, that's it cleaned up. Okay? So the next thing I want to work on in this clip that I would do, if you had sent this in, is you could see here it goes dark. So I want to just, let's see. For some reason, look at that. Right there it starts going dark. So I'm just going to make this cut here. Make another cut right there. So now we have this, and you could tell this is dark footage. So what we could do, let's do this is basic editing. Okay, let's bring in a little brightness and contrast here. And we could bring this in, and let's take a look if we could do anything with that. You know, I mean, basically, it's okay. Let's see. Now, for situations like this, now we have that, and it's going, you know, and we could play it, and it's a little bright. That actually came out okay, but I don't like the way it looks over here. I mean, it looks actually pretty good, but I still want it better, you know. Okay, it's not filtering. Hold on one second. Let's just render this out. Okay, and we're back. We're almost done rendering this out. And as you could see, if you look at the time elapsed on this, look at this. It's approaching 2.5 minutes, just for the little bit of work we did. And that's just to render. And, you know, this is a 53-second clip. Now you can understand why I didn't make it as long as I could. So here we go. Now this is running with just the filter process we had done and stuff. So now we made our cut, and we're going to see what it looks like now. You know, it's still dark in that area. And, you know, oh, that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. But I want to show you something. Right there was an optimal frame, right? Nope, it goes dark. Right there, right? I think that is like optimal for lighting. So I want to show you something. Right here, you could, this button in Premiere allows you to export a frame. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're gonna call this I don't know, bright frame, whatever you want to label it. Okay, so we're gonna do that because I have another program. Folks, you know, we're expected all the time to be experts in our fields. Color and brightness and contrast is not my strong suit. I mean, it's a good strong suit I have, but I don't consider myself an expert. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use a different program for this situation. Let's see, we had to go to documents and bring this in. Okay, let's see, that's another one I had. Let's just see where, here we go, bright frame. Okay, so we have that, and we put this here on this timeline. This is going to be cool. So now there's another product, another thing out, program, and I'm going to pull it up right now, and it's called RX Effects, or Vision Effects, and it's a color and exposure matching program. So I'm going to use RE Match Basic. And what I'm going to do is put it on the video clip, which is right here. And let's go ahead and get rid of this stuff we don't, and I'm going to get rid of the brightness and contrast too for a moment. We don't need that. I'm just going to eliminate it, and I'll show you why in a moment. So when it comes to this program, you'll see on the left, I have to show it a reference frame. Right now this is up there, but we need the film. So that's the frame we're going to reference. I like the colors. I like the brightness. It's a lot better than this. So I am going to tell the program that I want to refer to the exposure and the color on this still image to be applied to this piece of film. Okay, so if we do it, we put the photo on video 2, and we're going to go down here, and I'm going to say, please refer to the image I put on video 2. Okay, so now we have that. So now it's applied. The next thing is the transfer mode. Okay, so here we go. We have this. So now we have all these different settings we could try. Let's check the next one. That one is not too bad. A little closer, but it seems a bit saturated over. We could check this one. That's actually not bad. That actually looks pretty nice. It's not exact, but it's pretty good. Let's look at how the other ones come out. Histogram 2, that's way too off. I don't think that's way too over. But we're getting okay. We're pretty good. Stored analysis we wouldn't use because we haven't stored anything, but that's the last one stored, so obviously that doesn't even apply. And you know what? That's not really going all that well. But let's try something. Again, restoration is all about trial and error. So when we were back in here before, remember there was another photo, freeze frame I happened to have from this. It was just here on this one. So maybe if we bring this in, and we'll put it on line 3. We don't need to see it. Okay, but we're going to tell the program to refer to that image. That gave a little less saturation. Still too dark. That's nice. I think that's runs pretty good. I happen to like that so far. That's actually pretty nice. Let's take a look. If we turn this off, that's what it was. And now that's what it is. And when we tell it to go to the other photo, it was a bit more, that's a bit more color. But you know, I don't think we need it that oversaturated. We really don't. And again, see, when you're restoring film, everything is subjective. That's the word I want to say. It is all subjective to the person doing it and to the quality you're looking for the purpose of time and everything that we're doing in this. I think we will leave this, but I could tell you, look at that there. Let's turn off this exposure thing, and let's turn this off. It goes down, and now it's up. So the skin tones are there. If this was a restoration job, you know, another one, I would go in and just bring the color down a little bit. I could go here right now to color and just bring that saturation down, you know, just a tad like that. I think will be, you know, okay, just like that. And I think for anything else, I think actually we're fine. We shouldn't have to touch anything on that. So let's go back here. We have that. I think that's a beautiful thing. And let's go here a second. I wanted to get back to where I was. Okay. So let's render this and just see what that looks like. Okay, and we're back. We have about 10 seconds left in the render, and we'll actually play this right before the cut. We'll go to the beginning and just see if we could tell, you know, how it is. Well, this all went through, so we've got this cleaned up, and this is actually a little better. We go through, the artifacts are not there as much, and here we go. So that's actually not bad. We did see the transition from the dark, you know, to that, but this actually is okay. It's not bad. Remember, it is 1971, and we still want to keep the authenticity and stuff of it. So we've cleaned up scratches, we've cleaned up the exposure, we've gone ahead and doing that. So I think it's time now that we could go through and see and take this out. There is some, I guess you would all agree, there's some stabilizing that can be done on this, which is another step in this program. I'm not a fan of the stabilizer in Premiere. It's just not something I'm a fan of. So let's quickly export, do a little export here on this file. And let's see, here we go. Okay, so let's go and export this. So when we export, we'll see here, here's the title, here's where it's going to go. There's a restoration folder I already made just so we can go in there. And this is the file. And usually, I mean, I keep all this information in here because I just do. But what we're going to do here, I'm just going to put down scratch, dust removal, removed, and exposure. So we know we did that part. Adaptive high bit rate is the bit rate I want to do it at. And we're just going to send it over to media encoder in here. And once media encoder comes up, you'll see everything automatically goes over, and we're going to hit export. Okay, and now we're back from this. It is still going through, so that should be ending up in our folder. Let's go over there. In the meantime, it's got 7 seconds left. We'll be fine. Here, 8mm restoration. There we go. So for the viewing, we could just do this. And let's see here, I did add, there we go. I said dust removed and exposure, so I know this is the right file that we just did. So let's go ahead and play this. Okay, so it's a little soft, we know that, but the dust, the scratches, everything is definitely gone. Oh, and there's that brightness that we did on that. Folks, I mean, again, I would go probably a little more on this, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just accepting it right now. But if you notice, this looks a little jerkier than when we were in Premiere. You know, do you notice? Do you see that jitter and everything that's there? Yeah, there's something definitely wrong, and I don't like that. So the first thing I always check are the details. And if you go in here and we go to properties, we just want to make sure everything was correct again. And here, 1920 by 1080, and here we go. Look at this, 15 frames per second. If you all remember, this is 18 frames per second. The problem with this is that Premiere does not have an 18 frame per second output. And a lot of times people don't realize this. They'll get stuff transferred at the right speed. They'll do their own edit, add their music, whatever they're going to do, which is fine. But you guys don't realize that Premiere, I can't talk about any other editing software, but they don't have an 18 frame per second export. So it defaults to 15, to the nearest one. And that's when you get that jitter effect. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to delete this out. There is a plugin. Let's get rid of even encoder. Okay, I'll shut this, and we're going to go back to file, export. We're going to go to media, and in here there was a new one that I did, a new encoder, and it's down here, right here. This Vocoder, it's called Voukoder. I think it's from Germany. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, when you go here for you activate this, and you go down, and they have their own right here. They have their own tab, And then we go in here, and now we go into, this says it's on video. We go to options, and in here we make our changes, and we're just going to make one change right here, constant rate. We click that, and you notice it says 23. Well, we're going to make that 18. Now we see OK. So now, just to confirm what we're going to do, if we go over here to the right, this is our source, 1920 by 1080. It's going to output at 18. I mean, it was recorded at 18 frames per second, progressive. Here on the right, there's our encoder, 1920 by 1080, and here it's going to output at 18 frames per second. If you go back in the video, I totally didn't even remember to look, and it had said 15 frames per second. So I could have just clicked export, but I'm also going to just send it to encoder, just to have it. And here we go in encoder. It still stayed the same, and there we go. And now we're going to go ahead and actually what I'm going to do, well, no, we don't have to change anything. I'm just going to open this. Let's see. Yep, it says 18 frames per second, but I didn't do dust scratch removal. Okay, and then the 18 frame is there. And this is now going to go through, and we will be back shortly. Okay, and we're back, and we're in the final 10 seconds of exporting this out. So as you can see, I mean, you have to understand how long this really does take. We're only using a 53-second clip, which is quite a bit of time, over 3 minutes to do that. So this one, let's see here. Scratch removal. See, and this is why I go through. Let's see, this was done at 3:30, and then this one, here we go, 3:39. So that's the one. So this one we can get rid of because we don't need it. I like staying with what we need. So here's the one we just did, and if we take a look, not bad. Okay, we have that. I'm curious how our look at that, nice and smooth. Doesn't seem to be any dirt, dust, artifacts. Here's the brightened area where we matched a frame we cut out of the other ones, so that exposure was up there from not being that dark and everything. There's still some shake, there is, but that's the way it was filmed. But that's what we're going to work on right now, because, you know, when we throw back in the day on a movie screen, you didn't really see that. And for those of you who are going to transfer films and watch it on your nice big 65-inch 4K TVs, you don't want to see that going on. So we're going to use a filter. This one is with Virtual Dub. It's a separate download that you have to do. Okay. So we're going to use the 64-bit. And there is a filter you could download. Incidentally, I'll see if I can get all the links and put them in the description for people to use. But let's do first things first. First, let's open our file. There it is. And let's put it in here. So we have that. Once you're in here, we're going to bring this down to 50% because I have two screens, a before and an after. We are now going to go into filters. We're going to add a filter, and we're going to go down, and I already pre-installed this filter. It's called Deshaker. So we're going to do that. Now, Deshaker has to go through 2 passes on our footage. So pretty much it did do everything right. It's a square pixels. It knows it's HD. It knows it has progressive scan. The only thing I would change over here for the scale, open this, put it on the most precise, put it on full. It makes such a huge difference, in my opinion, when we're talking stabilization. So right now this is for pass 1. Everything else is defaulted to the right thing it should be, so we just leave it. I don't touch it. We click OK. We click OK. And then here we go to File. And we do this Run Video Analysis Pass. So let's do that. And what you're going to see is on the right-hand side, you see all those red and white markers? It's marking where there's movement. It's marking where there's, you know, any type of shake and what exactly this has to do. So luckily, even though this is a 53-second film, it will go super fast. It's just me being who I am and why I'm particular with it. So let's go back to the shaker. Okay, now we're going to click over here on pass 2. And on the pass 2 parameters, so here, yes, we want same destination properties as source. That's fine. Okay, what we're going to do is down here, this is where, this here, you might have it on fastest. Please make sure you change it to bicubic to be on best. We do want the best quality for this. In here, edge compensation. Now, a lot of folks do average zoom, adaptive zoom average and fixed zoom, and we will too. But depending on how shaky your footage is, matters greatly, and that's what I'm going to show you in this. So I'm just going to hit OK. Okay, and let's unclick the first one because we don't need that right now. We don't. So we'll click OK after unclicking that. And down here in the lower left-hand corner, there's two play buttons. One has a 0 and one has a 1. You're going to hit the one with a 0. So let's do this. And we're going to hit this. And you're going to see on the left side is the original. Okay, and on the right side is the filter going to work. You'll see the bars moving. You're going to see everything going on. And I will now let this go to the end and then show you what how it comes out. So this is going through, and this is what I want to show you. Look here. So a lot of stabilizing programs zoom in order to eliminate the visualization of shake. And it does help the software, but when there's extreme shake, they zoom in too much. So if you notice, the right side is the fixed version so that you don't see it, but look how much more it's zoomed in and how much you lose from the frame. So for myself, I go back into filters, I will open this up, and I change this here to none with large borders. Okay, and what this is going to do, let's put this back here, is now when I play this, you're going to see the software fully working of what it does. So do you see this here? Look at how this is. So when software stabilizes footage, it's not like making repeated frames or something like that. It's moving everything so there's no shake. Sometimes there's great shake, sometimes there isn't. But you'll notice the borders move side to side or up and down. And that is what stabilizes your image. So what we're going to do now that this has run through, which is what you're supposed to do, let it run all the way through. Now we will go to File. We're going to save this as an AVI right here. And this already says from before, it says stabilized. So I am going to say OK. And now it's going to export it the way we just did it with those bars moving around. Okay, so we made it near the end. And there we go. So that's done. So we could X out of this and this. So here we are back in Premiere. Let's go ahead and bring up our project panel. And now let's go in and bring in what we just stabilized. We stuck that back here. And let's see, does this say stabilized? That says stabilized, just making sure I didn't have a double. There we go. So here's the file right here. Let's give it, let's see what we can do. Let's look at that down there. So for those of you who know or don't know, you could just take it and drop it here, and it'll give it a brand new timeline with the way that is. It's sort of nice. But now let's take this. Let's take a look. Now, of course, I'm not going to present this to you like this, okay? But to me, this is, this is beauty. So what we're going to do is now we're going to add go to the effects panel. We're going to add a crop filter. And what's great about this with cropping, unlike when you do photos, you're in complete control of the left, the right. So like, you know, when you crop, if you grab it in, the whole thing will shrink, or the whole thing will. That's not what we're doing here. So if we look, okay, so let's start on the left side, and you'll see I could go like this, just to the left. So what we're going to do is bring it to here, maybe. Again, this is all at the start. The top we're going to bring to like to here. The right side, that goes like that. Let's see if we bring it to here. And then we have a bottom one. Let's bring that up a little. And now let's just watch it a moment. And look at how we're doing here. Now what we're doing is we're trying to see if there was any, see, it still came in a little bit on the right side. There was a move, a jerk that we saw, see, and there it is again. Okay, so on that right side, let's just bring this in a little bit like that. And watch, let's go back a little, and now watch, let's see. All right, well, you know what? It's not terrible. Let's bring in that one. Oh, we did see a little more there. And then on the left, we did see another one. Let's bring that there. And now let's see. Look at that. So let's go back at the beginning a moment. Here we go. Now look how stable the whole thing looks. Look how beautiful that is. All right, so we're pretty stable now. That jerkiness and the jittery stuff is gone. And this is what we're liking. We have our brightness. It came up a little. Not bad for a quick thing that we just did. So now what we're going to do is do this right here, and look at that. I mean, beautiful. So now we stop it, and obviously we're not going to have these black bars. We're not going to show it like that. So now I double click this frame and I go like this. Okay, and I can now expand, bring this out just like that. And now if we go back, now we have the whole thing full frame. Okay, correct aspect ratio, and incidentally, yes, it did go to 18 frames per second because Virtual Dub does read everything that the whole thing has. But look how steady, look how good this is, and this is completely good and ready to go. So if we do a side-by-side comparison now, okay, so we're here. And I actually took the liberty of putting them side by side, as you could see. But I rendered it out so you could see it full screen. Just to see, you know, this difference. Let me just see comparison. Here we go. So this is going to play. And check this out. Now we have the two. Left side, of course, is before we restored it. And now we have it on the right side after we restored it. Not bad at all. You could see all the dust and artifacts are gone. Here's the brightness level we did. Again, you know, I would pay a little more attention to that, but for the purpose of this tutorial, we just went through and we played around. We did some stuff on it. The stabilization, you could see, is superior. We did have to bring it in a little bit. And again, it's all subjective. You know, if it was really severe, I may not have brought it in that much, but in my opinion, this was fine. And when you see this blown up on a 65-inch screen, you're going to appreciate how stable that is and how beautiful this looks. So I hope you see the restoration on that. And I know some of you have asked, well, you know what, if I get it done, I want to go to 4K. Well, you know, we can do 4K. Personally, you know, 4K is a bit overkill. But if you want to have some fun, let's have some fun. I don't mind. So I use Topaz Labs Video Enhance AI. I happen to like them a lot, and because of their versatility, because of there's so many options you can do, you know, when it comes to this. So here's the one that was stabilized and cropped. I think that's the one we're going to use. Let me see if there's anything else here. No, we'll just use that one. And we're going to go like this. Okay, so this is Here we go. So in here, you know, it uses artificial intelligence also. So these are all the uploading, how do I explain it? These are all models, okay? And it's all models to what we can try. And this is not a Topaz tutorial, so I don't want to go into anything like that. But here, like video artifact type, okay? Personally, if I was to do this, like we've already taken care of motion jitter and choppy frame rate, but it's a bit soft on the photo. Film usually was, so I'm going to say it's blurry, just to see what happens. You know, let's see. It is progressive, and yes, it is lower quality. This is judging by, you know, by today's standards. So now they have a compare tab, and on this compare tab, we can see which one, what version we would like to do before we go through all this processing, because it does take a long time. It takes about 10 times the length to do this. So if it's 53 seconds, let's just say a minute, it should take about 9 or 10 minutes to do 1 minute. That's how much it's going to take. So I'm going to render a preview first, and then we could take a look at it. Okay, and we're back, and we're nearing the end of this render. I'm just going to wait till this finishes rendering on the last 4K model. And it is a tedious process. Here we go. So now this is all good. I'm going to put this back. I want to see the full screen. And now what you do is you have to look at this, go through it. And the first, again, the original is still upper left-hand corner. And now we look at the 3 other samples. See which one looks better. See which one. I know it's hard when all of them are running. Yes, it's very hard, and it's slow motion. And, you know, you do have to make an educated guess. From what I'm seeing, because you have to look at everything in the photo, in the image, including the ground, feet. The person, you know, the person is moving, so maybe you want to see the vehicle, the car, you know, how clear everything is and stuff. So right off the bat, I could tell you, I think the first one that's over here on the right is not that wonderful. It's not that great, and I sort of like one of the bottom 2 right now. I'm trying to see here which would be better. It's hard when going like this, but I think we can't go wrong with either one. Let's just see. We're going to see our color exposure change around this point. Right there we go. I don't know. For argument's sake, let's use this dehalo one. Okay, the one that's on the lower left. Let's go ahead and use that. We'll close this out. Okay, we know we're going to use Artemis Strong Dehalo 4K. So what we do is we go into here, and we're going to pick Artemis Strong Dehalo. We are ready. Yes, we want to go to 4K, so we're already upscaling. In this drop down, you could choose anything you want. You could even go up to 8K, but we're going to stick with 4K because we're just having fun with this. The constant rate factor, this is important. You get a higher quality when you keep, this is like oxymoron. You would think the highest quality would be to go all the way. No, we're going to keep this down low. It is a slower process time, but you will get better quality on it. So we're going to go ahead and start processing. Incidentally, let's make sure it's going to go. Here we go. It's going to be there, and we're going to name this, we'll just name this the 4K upgrade so that we know what the deal is. And you could look here on the bottom right. You see how it's scaled to 3840 by 2160, 200%. Okay, but look at this. It knows to keep it at 18 frames per second, which is why I love this program too. It knows every little thing that you need to do. Anyway, we're going to start processing right here. It loads the AI model to Artemis into what it had. And you'll see the ETA over here in the left-hand corner. It says 9 minutes. Let's get this to go, and we'll come back in 9 minutes. Okay, so we just finished rendering it out. So that was it. And here's the 4K upgrade. And let's take a look. If you could tell on the screen, here we go. It's actually not bad at all. Not bad. We'd have to compare it to the 1K. And like I said, I think personally it's overkill. I don't think it's necessary, but I get it. You know, you want to do it in the highest you can, but personally there's visually no benefit. You know, I don't think so anyway. And there's more artifacts if you look at it a certain way. You really, you know, you'll see if you compare the two, you'll see artifacts. Matter of fact, we could put a comparison up right now of the two. So let's get a comparison video up. Okay, so I went ahead and I did this side-by-side comparison. You can see down here, one of them is the 4K and the other one is the 1K. So let's just bring this up, and here we go, comparison. And let's take a look if you could see the difference. Here we go. I mean, as you could see, there's not much difference. There really isn't. Now again, we're looking at it on a computer monitor. We're not looking at it on a TV. But like I said, the 4K is a bit overkill, and those file sizes are huge. They really are huge. But you could see the 1K is on the left, the 4K is on the right, and yeah, there's not much difference at all. So I think we're in good shape on how this whole thing went. But now you know, you have an idea of how everything went. Once again, here's the comparison to our original one, and there is no comparison. When you see what we started with the dirt, the dust, the scratches, the dark footage, everything, it just makes it such a much more enjoyable, you know, thing to look at. And if you are watching this on the YouTube app, you'll see it way better of how much better that really looks and that whole process looks. And there we have it. And there you have it. I mean, that's pretty much the restoration process. As you can tell, it's a long, tedious process. I could have made this an hour video and I chose not to, because you do have to go in and fine-tune those areas. I know we had that dark spot, could have been a little better, but for the purpose of this video, I was just showing you the basics of one of the ways to do this. And you know, I'm just saying, I don't proclaim to be an expert. I don't proclaim to know everything. This is everything I've learned. There's more than one way to get to a part. There's other people that may have a whole different workflow and you get the same, if not a better result. This is what I do. This is what I've done, and things I've learned for over 20 years, little by little, of going through. So I hope this video was enjoyable. If you want to see more videos like this, please let me know. Please remember to like and subscribe. And until then, we'll see you on the next video.